go across to the management at Tech Mahindra. We have with us Mr. CP Gurnani, the MD and CEO at Tech Mahindra, joining us. It's the Analyst and Investor Day at Tech Mahindra today, and they have talked about their outlook for the coming quarters and how they're looking at reorganization, their business better. Mr. Gurnani, thank you so much for speaking with ET Now. Wanted to begin by, asking you about the comment that you made in the meeting today, and that said, never seen so much certainty about uncertainty. What does this do to the demand in the near term, and is it fair to expect that decision making is delayed?
I think I had highlighted this in a previous earnings call that the best way to respond is by making your plans and corrections on a monthly format. So what we do now is that pretty much in the beginning of the month, like for example, I just came in from Mobile World Congress Barcelona, but we spent 12 hours yesterday reviewing, what the March would look like, and made all the adjustments to our productivity and efficiency goals based on the data that is available and has been synchronized with majority of our customers.
Sure, I understand that, but given the fact that you're doing this monthly, check with respect to how demand is panning out, want to understand from specifically verticals of high tech, BFSI and telecom, what's the demand trend?
Now, BFSI insurance is clearly showing an upswing. Banking, depending on the countries, we are seeing different reactions. Similarly, on telecom, some of the customers, are continuing to spend because they believe that crisis or no crisis, they need to work a lot more on 5G rollouts. They need to work on, the fiber to home rollouts, and they need to convert their legacy systems into more digital systems. So telcos, in a lot of ways, want to, get better in being able to configure and reconfigure. Internally, they always joke that a Uber can reconfigure their whole network in less than an hour, whereas for a telco to reconfigure their network or launch a service offering, it takes a few months. So obviously, they're trying to prioritize on that area. On high tech, you've seen maximum impact because there have been layoffs announced by many of them, and for high tech to get back to the same heights, it would take about 2 quarters.
Okay, so slow down over the next couple of quarters. And since you talked about layoffs, wanted to understand at Tech Mahindra itself, how are you dealing with delayed onboarding, etc.? Because that's been the trend in the industry so far. And is it fair to assume that headcount addition in FY24 will be a lot less versus FY23?
No, as I said, the way we're working is we are looking at monthly forecast to fulfillment and monthly operational metrics. So we have never given any forecast either for hiring or for revenue. But I can only tell you this much is that when you look at high-tech layoffs are being absorbed by the service industry only. We have hired a few people from the product companies. Similarly, startups by law of nature, a few will succeed and few will not succeed. So I don't see that as a major trend. The third part, which is, people holding back on their commitments to hire. Tech Mahindra is committed to hire. As a matter of fact, it's a very important part that I bring in more digital ninjas, more youngsters into the company and train them to be ready. It takes about 6 to 8 months to be ready, and it's very important that hire them and train them.
Since we're talking about hiring, what about the hiring of the CEO? Because it's out of the bag that that's underway. Could you talk to us about what's the timeline of the CEO appointment?
The definitive part is the countdown for me because I informed the stock exchanges in last May that I am stepping down in December 23, and clearly it's in the interest of the organization that we have a smooth handoff, and we also are able to meet the clients and the people together. So I think it will happen soon. I, as usual, cannot give you any firm commitments.
I appreciate that, Mr. Gurnani, but any hint? Is it an internal candidate, external candidate? There are talks about Mr. Sanjay Jalona coming on board. Any clarity you can give us?
Best is that we make whatever conversations on this after we inform the stock exchange, after we, there's no point in me preempting any announcement.
Okay, Mr. Gurnani, we'll let you go on that note. Appreciate you joining us on ET Now today. With that, slipping into very